Okay, let's get the show all started again. Part 3.
Live from New York, this is WIUR Radio.
Welcome back to Just Chatting with Raina Graham here on WIUR. And I'm still at the point on trying not to say WICR. But anyway, I am your host, Raina Graham, a third year junior here at Iona University. And to start off, the weather be feeling a bit too nice out, meaning that spring will be here around the corner, as some of us haven't expected yet. The entire spring equinox was supposed to go and then start off on the 20th during the spring break, but we gotta go and enjoy this lovely weather while it happens. Anyway, on to our one recaps from last episode. And then I usually like to go and then recap the audience on what happened the last time that we were here. So I'll do all that. Hmm. Last week we all discussed about the job fair. I hope everybody who attended got them some good recommendations for work and also internships. Also, what else happened last week? There was um a handful of speaker events that happened in the last week. That was fun to attend. Well, if you're ever curious on what happened in the last episode, you could always go and find both episode 1 and 2, which is on their one YouTube. Now then, let's get on to what's going on this week in Iona. Excuse me. Ooh. So then today at 12 p.m., the counseling center is going to be giving advice on what you could be doing during your spring break. And I also have me some helpful advice on how some people who are being in their one entire towns or even folks who stuck in New Rochelle town during the spring excuse me. For folks who stuck in New Rochelle town during the spring break, I have some great ideas on what to do during your staycation, but we'll get onto that later on in the show today. Ugh. Anyway, if you want to go and hear what the counseling center is doing during 12 p.m. or find out what the one info is, then you can head over to the student union lobby room on the first floor. um, it's the first table at the entrance, I guess. Also, there will be a business model canvas workshop over in Spelman Hall, Heinz Co-working Center. I highly recommend that everybody attends that event because the Heinz Institute of Innovation is honestly best department to be around in. Hmm. And then we also got an entire painting event going on in Burke Lounge at 12 p.m. Now these are all apparently activity hour. Sheesh, I'm so sorry. I cannot speak today. And excuse me 3 times. Wow. During season allergy and when things be getting a bit too wild, gonna have to start having a count of how many times this happens. Anyway, hope you guys attend all the events going on during activity hour. But whichever one event that you go and choose, I hope you enjoy it. And then tomorrow, oh, looking at all the events that gonna be happening. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. women's lacrosse are going up against Mercy Hurst. I think the school's called. But I bet you that folks that are well knowledgeable in the one entire college's sports segment, they'll inform you more about the entire game that was happening tomorrow. And then on to Thursday events. Hospitality dinner, and I feel like everybody should know this at this point, happens at around 5:30 to 6:30, an entire hour of hospitality. I highly recommend you attend that one event as well. And like I said in last episode, the commuter hour, that is a good opportunity for folks to connect with other students and even meet some new faces that they don't really see around here that much. I see commuter hour as a time for folks to get together and enjoy everyone's company, which I probably said this in the last episode. Okay. Now, on to my favorite part, the pre spring report. Nothing. As I said, yes, or like not yesterday, but in episode 2, I gave you guys a recipe for making you some delicious cutout cookies. And today's recipe is gonna be a delicious vanilla cake brought to you by Yolanda Gump onto howtobakeit.com or look up how to cake it onto YouTube and her vanilla cake recipe. Although I am going to go and read to you the ingredients that you will be needing. So then, 2.5 cups of all purpose flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of table salt. But if your 2 sticks of butter are salted, then I think you'll be fine. And then onto the butter, it has to be at room temperature. And this is all the info that I was getting from her one video. How you know that your butter is at room temperature is if you go and then poke it and it makes a bit of a dent, then you know that you did a good thing with your butter. And then followed off the butter with 2 cups of sugar and then 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. But I usually would use any vanilla extract. And then 4 large eggs at room temperature. Now then, there was a certain method in how she did the entire room temperature eggs if you forgot to leave your eggs out for, I think it's 4 hours that the eggs would be at room temperature. You guys probably should go and watch her video first to see how you get eggs to that one entire room temperature. Oh, sheesh, I love to bake. Mine is very sweet. Anyway, then 1 cup of whole milk. And then those are all the ingredients that you'll need for your vanilla cake. Please go watch that YouTube video. And then you go follow through on the directions on how to bake it. Since in the entire name of the show. And now then, next one. So then, some things for folks to be doing around in this one town during the spring break is that you could also go to American Dream Mall during the break, and there is a boatload of fun activities for you and your folks to be doing. For the young ones out there, there's a place called Bubble Planet. It's a very um uh I would say that it's a hands-on experience and it kind of reminds me of the Van Gogh experience, although I never attended the one entire interactive Van Gogh museum experience. Um, things that you go and do at that one entire place, and this is if you'll be babysitting during your spring break. Highly recommend that the folks watching this show take the young ones out there because then they got a balloon lane. They also got a entire floor with projector of aquarium. They also got a entire room of the dangling lamps. And then the bubble room is very nice because then it's a bunch of bubbles. What else? They also got a ball pit. Feel like every single interactive experience these days, including Ice Cream Museum, they probably also have a ball pit there too. Huh. So that's one place that you could stop by at American Dream Mall during the break. But then there's also the Nickelodeon universe and also DreamWorks Water Park, which I never been to the DreamWorks Water Park, but I have been to Nickelodeon universe And I highly recommend everybody rides the Nickelodeon coaster. Or if you're brave enough, you could go on to the coaster that's based off of the show. Well, it's called the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's the name of the ride. It's the Shredder. Yeah, but you gotta be real brave to go on that big coaster. The Nickelodeon coaster, that's like your best bet if you're too afraid of heights. What else to be doing in that one entire American Dream Mall? Well, the mall's got a lot to offer. I'd say that the Northeast coast, as in our tri states, it's pretty good. Also, to you folks who go and collect your little teddies and stuffed animals, they have two different Build a Bears from my knowledge. One was the one entire store that had a lot of Hello Kitty and Friends teddy bear. Although I haven't even been inside of that one store, so I'm not sure. I highly recommend you folks to head over to that place if you haven't been already. You will not regret going to American Dream Mall. Hmm. Now that I yapped about the place to be in New Jersey, although I bet you a lot of folks have so much to say about that state, you really gotta give it a chance. If you know the right place to be traveling to, then I bet you'll have a very good time. Hmm. Well, there's also Thrills, Connecticut. It's the one entire indoor zip lining joint. That's another place that is on my activity list that I have yet to cross off. Think biggest reason and why I haven't been to that one entire indoor zip line and trampoline park. I hope they have a zip line there too. It's probably because I'm very busy and I haven't made me any time to head over there with a few friends I know. Hmm. What else was there? Oh yeah, I gotta go and then inform some folks who like to be collecting little bag trinkets and things about this year's spring catalog for bag charms and also collectibles that you could be grabbing during the break. So then Tokidoki just came out with their own version of Labubos, but it isn't like the ones that you're familiar with. They also got Beverage Bestie Bag Charm. It's a blind box. They specialize in a lot of blind box stuff. And then they also got the Cherry Blossom Cat series. I really do love cherry blossom season, but unfortunately, I am highly allergic to this certain cherry blossom tree that be blooming around mid-April and around mid-May. I know exactly what sorry. I had to go and look up what the species a tree is. I'm gonna have to make this quick because meeting soon. Whew. I think that the species of tree is a Japanese blossom tree, which is one of the entire cherry blossom trees that possibly contains a high amount of pollen in it. You know, during the entire host cut of this segment, I'll be showing a lot of um footage of whatever I went on about. So then back to the entire collector's guide. The soft and sweet vinyl plush blind box by Tokidoki is actually better than your Labubu if you're not that interested in those one mm, bag charm. So then from in that one list, they have Toffee Biscotti. That's the bear from in Tokidoki series. They also have the blueberry Donatella. They have the blush pink Donatella. They have the mint green Donatella. They have the lavender biscotti bear, and then the cloudy biscotti bear. And then this'll cost you about 26 USD. Yep, I'm telling you the price because I don't want to be gatekeeping nothing. And also, I want to make sure that you guys are thinking about when you go and buy this stuff. Anyway, that's one thing that you guys could try and collect. I hope some people actually. Mm, you know what? Back over to the entire catalog. They also came out with the Butterfly Garden, Tokidoki, and Hello Kitty and Friends line box collectible. It's like a vinyl figurine. And then we got the entire crew from Hello Kitty and Friends. Karopi, My Melody, Batsmaru, Karomi. I know a lot of Karomi fans might be watching, so I hope you guys roll for that Karomi. Also, we got Cinnamoroll. We got Hello Kitty. She's the main character. Then we got Tuxedo Sam, Pochako, and Pom Pom Perrin. Ugh, I roll for Pom Pom Perrin every single time. And when I buy me one of these, what else was there? Hmm. Now then, I'm going to go and then teach you how to make a delicious spring tea matcha. So then what you're gonna wanna do is make your matcha by scratch, and then you could watch a tutorial on how to make a good matcha latte. And then in your one entire homemade matcha latte, you're gonna wanna get you some lavender syrup. I highly recommend the Da Vinci Gourmet Lavender Syrup. You could order that stuff off of Amazon. They also got coconut flavor, but I don't think that they got ube. I'm gonna have to come back 2 weeks from now with some info on how to make a ube latte. And then for a medium sized cup, you're gonna wanna add you 4 teaspoon sizes of your lavender syrup. And then everybody should probably know how to make a cold foam by scratch. Just add you some heavy whipping cream. I wonder if they have any other plant-based version of heavy whipping cream. And then for the one entire cold foam, you could add your lavender into that one cold foam and then mix. There are lots and lots of videos on how to make lattes like the ones that they have at Starbucks. So just key thing to go and look up would probably be how to make a lavender matcha latte from home. Sorry. Ugh. 18 entire minutes in, or 18 minutes left on the clock. Oh, and happy Gals Giving Day to all the gals here in the Gal Nation. Best way to celebrate the Gals Giving Day is to go and then show your gratitude to all the donors that sorry, that put in a lot of amounts in when they donate. Also, show gratitude to the staff here at Iona because I feel like a majority of the staff are what keeps the entire university going, including the professors, the instructors, everybody here. And also, thank you to the fellow Gale viewer who is looking at this for being a part of the Gale Nation. Ugh, I think I'm gonna have to call it a show right now. But before I go, outro, because I legit had me no time for outro last week. Anyway, the weather is nice outside, and I hope everybody enjoys the days that go by. Be sweet to almost anybody that you see, because you have no clue whatever goes on their side of town. Just giving people encouraging words of wisdom could actually go and lighten their mood. Again? Sheesh. Oh well. Good night. And